Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Steve Jobs? I meant that. And if your week is on autopilot, your future is too. You wake up, you grab your phone before you even remember your own name, you dive into the same 3 apps, and by the time you look up, half the day is gone. Another week disappears into a blur of notifications, random videos, and half-finished intentions. So here's what I want to do with you right now. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how I would reset your life in 7 days. Think of it as a 7-day life reset, designed with the Steve Jobs mindset: simplicity, focus, bold choices. And if you stay with me until the end, I'll give you a simple 7-day checklist you can start tonight. 1 page, 7 lines, a reset week you can actually finish. This isn't theory. This is exactly how I built products, companies, and my own life. By editing ruthlessly, focusing on what matters, and saying no to everything else. Let's start where you are, waking up from autopilot. Imagine someone filmed your last 7 days. Every hour, every swipe, every time you said just 5 more minutes. Would you be excited to watch that movie with your name on it? Or would you feel this quiet, heavy ache, knowing that the person on the screen is capable of so much more than what you're seeing? When I was young, that question haunted me. I go to Reed College. Beautiful campus, smart people, interesting classes. It looks like I've made it in the way the world defines success, but inside I feel like I'm living someone else's script. I walk across campus from class to class, and my days all look the same. Requirements, assignments, degrees, a path that's already been laid out, and I'm just walking it. It's comfortable, it's safe, and it feels dead. I realize something important. My life is starting to go on autopilot. I'm spending my parents' savings, checking boxes I don't care about, just because that's what people do. So I do something that looks foolish from the outside. I drop out, everyone thinks it's crazy, but for the first time, my week belongs to me. I'm no longer locked into a schedule I don't believe in. I stop taking the classes I'm supposed to take and start dropping into the ones that make me feel awake. Calligraphy, typography, art. These classes don't look useful. There's no obvious career path in beautiful letters, but they pull me out of autopilot and into attention. Years later, those seemingly useless classes become the soul of the Macintosh. Real typography, proportionally spaced fonts, a computer that actually cares about how words look and feel. A tiny choice in 1 week ends up shaping what millions of people see every day. That's how life works. Your life doesn't change when you make some grand declaration about your future 10 years from now. It changes when an ordinary week stops being ordinary. Right now, your week is probably built to keep you exactly where you are. Same apps, same routines, same excuses. You're not stuck because you lack potential. You're stuck because your days are designed for stagnation. So this is where the 7-day life reset begins. For 1 week, I want you to stop drifting and start designing. Not by adding more, not by piling on another huge to-do list, by stripping away the noise and rebuilding your days around a very small number of things that actually matter. We're going to treat your next week like a product I'm about to ship. Your mind, your time, your environment. Version 1.0 of a new operating system for your life. In a moment, I'll walk you through the exact 7-day map, day by day. But first, you need to understand the core principle behind it. The power of a clean slate. When I come back to Apple in 1997, the company is full of brilliant people and terrible focus. We're making printers, cameras, a dozen different computers with names even I can't remember. There are roadmaps, committees, endless meetings. It looks like progress. It's not. It's noise. One day I roll a whiteboard into a meeting with the top people. I draw a simple grid. 2 columns, consumer and professional, 2 rows, desktop and portable, 4 boxes. I look at them and say, we're going to make 1 great product in each box. That's it. And then we start cutting. We kill products people have poured years of their lives into. We cancel projects that have already cost millions. We say no to smart teams with clever ideas. It hurts. People are angry. Some of them think I'm destroying their work. But something amazing happens. The fog lifts. Suddenly, everyone knows what we're building and why. The best engineers and designers can point their talent in the same direction. Within a few years, Apple goes from almost dead to one of the most valuable companies in the world. Not because we did more, because we did less. On purpose. That's the heart of this reset. Right now, your life is Apple in 1997. Too many products, too many commitments, too many apps, too many half-finished routines, You're trying to be good at everything and you end up being fully present for nothing. And you start a side project, then abandon it. You buy a book, read 3 chapters, and let it collect dust. You promise yourself a new habit, then let your old calendar crush it. You're a walking, talking, overloaded product line. You don't need more motivation or more hacks. You need a smaller, clearer life. People think focus is about saying yes to the things you want to do. Focus is really about saying no 1,000 times to clear space for one meaningful yes. At Reed, I say no to the degree. I say no to the safe, respectable path. I say yes to calligraphy, and that one foolish yes shapes the feel of every Mac and iPhone screen you probably stare at every day. At Apple, I say no to whole categories of products. No to licensing the operating system. No to designing by committee, to features that clutter instead of clarify. I get called arrogant, harsh, obsessed, but that's the price of a non-average life. You want a new life in a week? You don't get it by sprinkling some inspiration on top of your old habits. You get it by becoming the editor-in-chief of your own existence. Minimalism for productivity isn't about owning fewer things, so your room looks nice on Instagram. It's about removing anything that doesn't serve your deepest work and your truest self. You will not reach the end of your life and wish you had scrolled more. You will not lie on your deathbed and say, I wish I had attended more pointless meetings and answered more random notifications. You will wish you had been more awake, more intentional, more courageous with your days. This week I want you to be ruthless with what doesn't matter and gentle with yourself as you learn how to let it go. Not perfect, precise. And before we dive into the 7-day reset map, I want to ask you for something. If you feel that part of you waking up, the part that's tired of wasted time and autopilot routines, hit subscribe. Not because I need another number, because you need a community of thinkers and builders, a tribe of people who actually care about how they live and what they create. That's what the Steve Jobs mindset is about. You stay close to that, you can't redesign your life in total isolation. All right, let's get concrete. In a moment, I'll walk you through each day of the reset and what to do. Treat this like a self-improvement plan you actually execute, not just another video you consume. The 7-day reset map. I don't like abstract improvement. I like shipping. So here's how I would reset your life in 7 days, step by step. This is your reset your routine blueprint. Day 1. You don't change anything, you watch. Today you become a quiet, honest observer of your own life. Think of it as user research. Before we redesign a product, we study how people actually use it, not how they say they use it. Do the same with yourself. Sure, from the moment you wake up, pay attention. Where does your hand go first? How long do you stay in bed with the phone? Like, what's the first thing you feed your brain? Every time you switch what you're doing, jot it down. You can use a small notebook or a simple note on your phone. 7 to 10 a.m., woke up, scrolled Instagram, 15 minutes. 10 a.m., in class, half listening, half on YouTube. 11:30 p.m., in bed, watching random videos, 40 minutes. You're not trying to impress anyone, you're collecting data on your real life. Notice when you feel alive and when you feel dull. Notice who you're with when you feel most like yourself. Notice how many times you open the same apps without even thinking. By the end of the day, you start to see clearly. Your life is not made of big events. It's made of tiny repeating decisions and the cracks between them. Yay, that's day 1. Awareness and mental declutter. Brutal, compassionate honesty. Day 2. Delete. Today is about cutting noise. This is where you start to stop wasting time. First, 3 apps. Look at your phone and be honest. Which 3 apps steal your time and give you almost nothing back? Not tools you genuinely use to work or study, the pure distractions, the ones you tap when you're bored, anxious, avoiding something important. You already know which ones they are. Right now, before you drift to another video, delete one of them. Just one. Don't overthink it. Remove it. Feel that tiny moment of panic. That's how you know it mattered. You can always reinstall later, but for this week, it doesn't exist. By the end of the day, delete 3. Next, 3 obligations. Look at your schedule and your messages. What are 3 recurring things you've been doing out of guilt or habit not because they matter. Maybe it's a weekly call that drains you, a club you don't care about anymore, a group project you're dragging along when you know you should step back. Send 3 messages today saying, in your own clear and kind words, I can't keep doing this. You don't need a long essay. You don't need to apologize for wanting your life back. Be honest, be respectful, be firm. Then 3 physical distractions. Walk through your room or wherever you live and work. What are 3 objects that constantly pull you off track? The bags of junk food on your desk, the game controller right next to your laptop, the TV in your bedroom that keeps you up too late. Pick them up, move them, put them in another room, in a closet, somewhere that creates friction between you and your worst impulses. Today, you're creating resistance for bad habits and removing resistance from good ones. At Apple, we used to say, we decide what not to build. That's why our products felt simple and powerful. You have to decide what not to live. Day 3, design your space. Your environment is not neutral. It's always pushing you somewhere. When I was a kid, my dad taught me how to build a fence in our backyard. He was incredibly meticulous. He made me paint the back of the fence, the side no one would ever see. I asked him why. He said, because you will know. That idea soaked into everything I did. Later, when we built the first Macintosh, we cared about the inside of the machine, parts no customer would ever see. We wanted them neat, organized, beautiful. Why? Because craft shapes character and environment shapes behavior. Today, pick one workspace in your life and treat it with that level of respect. It might be your desk, a corner of your bedroom, a spot in the library, the kitchen table you claim for a few hours. Clear it completely. Take everything off, put it on the floor or another surface, let that space be empty for a moment, then ask what truly deserves to live here. Maybe your laptop, a notebook, a pen that feels good to write with, one object that inspires you, a book, a photo, a quote, not 10 objects, 1. This is minimalism for productivity in its purest form. Everything in your space should earn its right to be there. When we designed the Apple Store, we obsess over this. We strip away clutter, big wooden tables, clean lines, open space. The first time you walk in, you don't feel overwhelmed. You feel invited. Make your workspace feel like that. If your phone destroys your focus, it does not sit on that table. It lives in another room when you're in creator mode. If your chair hurts your back, fix it. If your lighting makes you tired, change it. You're not cleaning, you're designing. By the end of day 3, you have a physical trigger. When you sit in this space, you're not scrolling, you're building. Day 4, choose one goal. This is where most people fall into the trap of being vague. I want to get my life together. That doesn't mean anything. Your brain can't execute that. Today you choose one personal or study goal for the next 30 days. Not 5, not a long wish list, 1. It might be, by 30 days from now, I will have worked out at least 4 times a week. By 30 days from now, I will have built and shipped my first simple app. By 30 days from now, I will have studied math for 45 minutes every day. By 30 days from now, I will have written 20,000 words. Whatever it is, it must be specific enough that you can say, yes, I did this, or no, I did not. Right now, I want you to actually do this. Not later, now. Pause this video for 30 seconds. Write down your 30-day goal, and when you're done, come back and type reset in the comments so I know you actually committed. This isn't for me, it's for you to cross that line between thinking about changing and actually changing. When I spoke to students at Stanford, I ended by saying, stay hungry, stay foolish. That wasn't a slogan, it was how I lived. A hunger means having a clear direction. You want something enough to say no to distractions. Foolishness means you're willing to look a little crazy while you go after it. Today you choose what you'll be hungry and foolish about for the next 30 days. This one goal becomes the core of your self-improvement plan. If something doesn't serve it, it's a candidate for no. Day 5, systems, not willpower. Here's where most people fall apart. They think they will just try harder. You won't. I don't say that to insult you. I say it because you're human. At Apple, we never assume customers will read a thick manual or behave perfectly. We design products that work with real human behavior. You need to do the same with your habits. Today, you design systems and triggers so your environment does half the work. If your goal involves working in the morning, your phone charge is in the kitchen, not next to your bed. When your alarm goes off, you have to get up to turn it off. If your goal involves exercise, you lay out your clothes where you can't miss them. You don't make a 6 a.m. decision in the dark, you make it the night before. If your goal is deep study, you block time on your calendar like a meeting with your future self. You don't cancel on that person. Create tiny triggers. Maybe every time you make coffee, you open your notebook. Every time you sit in your designed workspace, you start with 5 minutes of writing or coding or problem solving. The first action is automatic. The second action becomes easier. You also build friction against your worst habits. Use website blockers, log out of distracting platforms, put the game controller in a box on a high shelf. Tell a friend, if I don't send you a photo of my work by 9 p.m., call me out. You're laying down rails so that on your worst day, you still move forward a little. Don't rely on waking up every morning and renegotiating with your weaker self. Build a system once and let it carry you. Day 6. Conversations. You cannot launch a new operating system for your life while everyone around you expects the old one to keep running. Today, you have one honest talk. Maybe it's with a friend, a partner, a parent, a roommate, someone whose expectations tend to shape your time. Like, you sit down and say, I'm raising my standards, not in a dramatic, ego-driven way, in a clear, grounded way. You explain your 30-day goal. You explain that you're treating this as a serious 7-day life reset that leads into a bigger change. You tell them what's going to look different, maybe fewer late nights, fewer random hangouts during your focus time, less gossip, less complaining. You also tell them what you're asking for, a little support, a little quiet, a little understanding when you say no. At Apple, some of the hardest moments are these conversations, looking at someone and saying, this isn't good enough. Hearing it said to me, when I'm fired from Apple, I have to have that conversation with myself. Who am I without this company? Do I still build? Do I still care? The answer is yes. So I start next. I start Pixar. New teams, new environments, new standards. All of that comes from admitting that one version of my life is over and another is beginning. You might be afraid that if you raise your standards, you'll lose people. You might. But if your whole life is built around keeping everyone else comfortable, you're not really living, you're just performing. Today, you stop performing and start declaring. Day 7, launch. This is not the end of the reset. This is the start. Until now, you've been preparing, observing, deleting, designing, choosing, building, aligning. Today, you launch the first official week of your new system. Take one sheet of paper and write Reset Week at the top. Under that, write 7 short lines, one for each day of this process, in your own words. Day 1. What did I see when I watched my real life? Day 2. What apps, obligations, and distractions did I cut? Day 3. What does my new workspace look and feel like? Day 4. What is my 130-day goal? Day 5. What systems and triggers did I build? Day 6. Who did I talk to and what did I say? Day 7. What promise am I making to myself for the next 30 days? This is your 7-day reset checklist. It's not just tasks, it's your release notes. When we ship a new version of a product, we document what changed, bugs fixed, features added, improvements. This page is your personal version 1.0 release notes. Keep it somewhere visible, your wall, your desk, your lock screen. Then you live it. You enter your redesigned week with a clearer environment, fewer distractions, one priority, better systems, and at least one human being who knows what you're doing. That is how you build a new life in a week. And in a moment, I'm going to show you why this exact pattern is powerful enough to help save a company like Apple. How we simplified Apple. When I returned to Apple, most people think the solution is more deals, more products, more features, more marketing, but people are already overwhelmed. Customers walk into electronic stores and see endless shelves of boxes, fluorescent lights, crowded aisles, tech that feels cold and confusing. We want the opposite. We strip the product line down to a few machines. We focus on making them insanely great instead of spreading ourselves thin. At the same time, we start working on something new, the Apple Store. We ask, what if a store felt like a creative studio instead of a warehouse? What if technology felt human? So we remove the clutter, we put out big tables with products you can touch, we open the space, We create a genius bar so you can talk to a human being, not just read tiny print on a box. The store becomes more than a place to buy, it becomes a place to learn and explore. We took a cluttered experience and turned it into something clean, focused, and inviting. That's exactly what you're doing with this 7-day life reset. Right now, your life is like those old stores. Too many choices, too much noise, no clear path from who you are to who you can be. This week, you simplify like we did with our products. You cut product lines, apps, obligations, distractions. You redesign the store. Your workspace becomes intentional instead of random. You highlight a flagship, one 30-day goal instead of 10 vague wishes. You build support systems, triggers, environment changes, honest conversations. You document the release your reset week page. This is how you turn reset your routine from a slogan into reality. This is how you turn mental declutter into real-world changes. Fewer icons, fewer commitments, less friction. I used the same pattern when I was fired from Apple. On paper, I lost everything. My company, my role, my identity. In reality, I got something extremely rare, a brutal clean slate. I say no to feeling like a victim. I say no to defining myself by a title. I say yes to building again from a smaller, clearer place. Next becomes a lab for new ideas. Pixar becomes a storytelling revolution. Both feed back into the apple that changes the world. Every time my life moves forward in a big way, the pattern is the same. Simplify, focus, ship. Your 7-day reset is your version of that. Now I want to challenge you to actually live it. Your 7-day challenge, 7 days is nothing. You can lose 7 days without even noticing. Scroll here, binge there, say I'll start next week a few times, and they're gone. I'm asking you to treat the next 7 days as sacred. Not perfect, sacred. Perfect is a fantasy where you never feel tired, never miss a step, never doubt yourself. Sacred means you keep showing up even when it's messy. You don't trivialize the process, you protect it. Here's the challenge. Follow this 7-day reset map exactly once, all the way through. Day 1, you observe your week honestly. Day 2, you delete 3 apps, 3 obligations, and 3 distractions. Day 3, you design one workspace like it actually matters. Day 4, you choose one clear 30-day goal and write it down. Day 5, you build systems and triggers instead of trusting willpower. Day 6, you have one honest conversation about your new standards. Day 7, you write your reset week page and start the first official week of your new system. While you do this, document it briefly. Every day, write a short note or record a 20-second clip on your phone. Day 1, here's what I discovered about my time. Day 2, these are the apps I deleted. It felt like this. Day 3, here's my new workspace. At the end of the week, you'll have proof that you didn't just watch a video, you ran an experiment on your life. You'll also notice a shift. Your environment feels lighter, less clutter staring back at you, your calendar's clearer, more space for what actually matters. You have a defined next 30 days instead of vague, someday ideas. Most people never do this. Most people wake up, open the same apps, live the same loops, and hope something magically changes. They let the algorithm design their attention. They let other people's expectations design their schedule. They live in everyone else's story. You don't have to. You can live by design. You can use minimalism for productivity, not aesthetics. You can reset your routine from the ground up. You can ask again and again, is this how I want to spend this hour? Is this aligned with the life I'm building? Am I consuming or creating right now? If you keep asking those questions, you won't drift very far from yourself. I want you to imagine something. You're 90 years old, looking back at your life, and you won't remember every detail, but you might remember a week where you got tired of your own excuses, a week where you stopped living on autopilot, a week where you treated your time as something precious, not disposable. That can be this week, right now. So here's what I want you to do next. First, decide exactly what you're going to cut, design, and commit to. Don't just nod along. Say it out loud, write it down, own it. Second, subscribe and stay close to this community. If you're watching the Steve Jobs Mindset, you're already different from most people. You're not just chasing entertainment, you're upgrading your operating system. Subscribe, turn on notifications, not to watch everything automatically, but so you don't lose contact with a group of people who are actually trying to build better lives, not just better playlists. Third, I want you to bring this challenge to life in the comments. Right now, answer one question. Which habit are you killing first? Name it. Be specific. That's your first no. Then, when you finish your reset week, hey, come back to this video, comment done, and tell me what changed. What did you delete? What did you design? What did you commit to for the next 30 days? And stay tuned, because this 7-day life reset is just version 1.0. In the next videos, we'll talk about how to turn this week into a 30-day transformation and then into a new default for your life. 7 days. One reset. Say no to what doesn't matter. Say yes to the life you actually want. Stay hungry. Stay foolish. And build a week you'd be proud to watch.